Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love these new virtual events. I've been doing a lot of them, and I feel like it's perfect timing, and it's also great because we can all do it from our home. So it works out for everybody. And I'm excited about this presentation. I do this presentation a lot, but this is like the perfect time for talking about starting a business. So, I mean, I'm excited to share just what I've gone through, only because I went into this, just like you said, as a teacher. And now I've got a multi-million-dollar nationwide curriculum company. So it's been a crazy time, but I like to share that it's not that hard and just show my tips and ways to do it. So I think it's perfect timing for this whole presentation with everybody.
And tell us about you personally. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, so I'm a mom of four. So I have a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So I've got all parts of the spectrum as far as kids and ages. Um, and and I've got the businesses. So I've been married for 15 years. So I always say I'm juggling. Like when people are like, oh, I'm struggling with the kids, or oh, I'm struggling with the work, or I'm like, I've got it all. So I love sharing my story and all my resources, because I've had to figure out how to juggle it all.
It's very important that you have four children because people that write and give advice on family or children, some don't even have children. So you actually can test everything on your children.
Yeah. And what's even cooler is like I built everything while I had my kids. So it was
Wow.
never like I didn't have kids or I waited till I had kids. Like the journey of building businesses has been as I've had the four kids. So they've been a part of it all. My 14-year-old's like a pro. So it's been nice that it started really as a family business too. They were involved with all the pieces of it, and now it's grown. So they've got to see that. So it's really awesome.
Very
And what
good.
is also amazing is the presentation that Lisa prepared for us today. She's going to talk about how to creating a business idea that works, which includes how to make your idea and start a business today. Free marketing and advertising. Everybody wants to have free advertising and marketing. So she's going to give us some tips today, and keep it low risk, which is so important. So without more, introduction, we're going to start with the presentation. I'm going to share the presentation with everybody.
Perfect.
Showtime.
All right. So the whole idea behind this presentation is creating a business idea that works. And like you just said, my biggest thing, which I'm going to go over, is I'm never about, quit your full-time job, start your business. I'm about low risk. I'm about starting it with little money and building it into something big. So that's really what I want to do today, is to take that idea and make it into a business, and how you can do that. All right, so you can go ahead to the next slide. I always like to start and I've gone over this, but just my backstory and overview. This is my family. I finally got the girl. It only took 4 times, but I got her. But I'm very blessed. My family's amazing. My kids are super active. It's been interesting having everybody home all day, every day. But like you said, what's been great about with both of my businesses is I'm able to my kids have been a part of it. They've tried it, they've used it. And as an educator, which both my businesses are education, to know that it works and they're successful with it is a testimony in itself. So it's nice to have all my kids a part of it as well. All right, and the next slide. This is just my first business. This is my main big business, Top Score Writing. So Top Score Writing is a nationwide curriculum company. So I write curriculum books, and teachers and schools across the nation buy them. So a teacher would buy my books, let's say for 2nd grade. It's from 2nd through 12th grade. And they would then use those books to teach students in the classroom how to write. And this can be all types of writing. This is writing an essay, writing a story, writing a research paper. So we have books and we have digital. As you can see on the bottom there, I did a little screenshot of our digital program as well. And then on the next slide, this is just another part of my business. Oh, there we go. Okay. So another part of my business is I do trainings. And so I'm paid a lot to go out to schools and do trainings on how to teach students how to write. So not only do I give the lessons, I also come out and teach the teachers the best way to present these skills to the students, because it's one thing to get a curriculum book in front of you, but you have to know the best way to utilize it to make it effective for the students. And on the next slide, it's going to show my second business, which is my nonprofit. So this is my private school. I have a small private school in my local community. This school is specifically for kids that have struggled in their regular school. So they come to me. We're very small. We have small classes. Our teachers are very welcoming and nurturing, and it's just a different environment. We take breaks every 40 minutes. We allow students to kind of pick things they're interested in for electives. So it's a different school environment, and I get kids that have dropped out or want to drop out, are failing, have been bullied, anxiety, whatever the issue is, and they come to me, and 100% of them have been very successful. So it's just a different environment for them that's more personal, that they do well in. So this is my nonprofit. I did start this, turn it into a nonprofit specifically because I wanted to be able to provide grants and scholarships for students, because most of them that come to me can't afford a private school. So I try to make it where I'm not turning anyone away. So that is my second business, Coastal Boulder High School, that I've had now for 5 years. And on the next slide, if it wasn't quarantine coronavirus time, this would be a typical schedule for me. And I always show this because I'm not lying. This is a typical Saturday on the left. Most people are like, oh, I'm going to, the beach, and I'm going to clean my house. And me, I have 4 kids. I am at every sporting event known to mankind, and everywhere all day long, from 8 in the morning to 7 at night, every Saturday and Sundays. So when people say they're busy or they don't have time, I'm always like, try me, because I'm pretty sure I've got most people beat. And on the right side of the screen, I put my schedule for during the week. So again, most people work till 5 or 6. They come home, they cook dinner, they watch TV. Not me, not my family. We come home, we grab a snack, and we are out doing basketball practice, soccer games, baseball stuff, whatever it is. We are at practices and sports for all my different kids till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So we literally come home, do homework, and crash and do it all over the next day. So I say this because I want you to know that whatever's holding you back, whether you say I have too many kids, my kids are too busy, I'm too busy, I have that all, I promise you, and I'm still doing it. So I want to be able to motivate you and show you that there's really nothing that should hold you back, because it is all possible. All right, and the next slide is just a glimpse of my life. That's me staring up, wishing I was at the beach, and my kids going crazy around me. And then on the next slide, I always put this one in here because this is just me at the end of the day. This actually happened at the end of a photo shoot. We were taking pictures for the front covers of my books. All my kids are on the front covers. I actually think I have one right here. These are like my books, and this is one of my kids when he was younger. So we were doing a photo shoot, and at the end they were just going crazy, and I just went face first on the floor and decided to close my eyes, and the photographer got the picture. So I thought that was cute, because all my kids are looking at me like, what's wrong with mommy? And I'm like, I'm just tired. So that's a little glimpse into who I am. And on the next slide, I just like to put out a little timeline of my story, because I'm not that person that grew up in $1 million home. I'm not that person that my mom or dad ran a business. This is truly just from a girl who wanted to be a teacher. I mean, when I was 5 years old, I had a chalkboard in my room, and I taught my stuffed animals. Like, for real, my parents thought I was going a little cuckoo, but I did that, and I always wanted to be a teacher. Every person who ever knew me growing up knew Lisa was going to be a teacher. So in 2004, I graduated college. I also got married that year. And then in 2005, this picture on here is a picture with one of my first students. I became a teacher right out of college. And then you can see right in my first year of teaching, I had my first son. That's a picture of me holding him. My school was really, really kind to me. What happened was I started teaching, and I started teaching writing. And we went from 38% of the students passing the state writing test to 100% of them passing the state writing test. So it was unheard of. I was one of the only teachers to do that. So when I had my first son, my principal said, you know, when are you going to come back? And I was like, well, I'm not sure, probably 8 weeks, 9 weeks. And she wanted me back sooner because she wanted those writing scores. So she started a daycare at the school. So that's a picture of me in the bottom right corner of the screen. We had a small little room that the principal turned into a daycare, and my son was there. I went back when he was 4 weeks old. He was the only baby in the daycare. It was kind of like a private nanny. So I was able to do what I love to do. I was able to teach, and then I would go into the daycare on my breaks or during lunch to see him. So it was really the best of both worlds. And then moving on to the next screen, after my first year of teaching, okay, there we go. All right, so I ended up teaching for 3 more years, and that picture on the top left is my class, and that is my child that they're holding when he was in the daycare. So we used to, after school, sometimes I'd let them go visit the daycare because they loved him just as much as I did. So he was a big part of my class as well. And then in 2008, I had another baby. So that was my second baby. I was still teaching, but I had moved into the role of what they call a writing coach. So I was able to help and kind of oversee other classrooms that were teaching writing. At the same time I had my child, I literally had him, and then 2 weeks later graduated with my master's degree. So I was getting my master's while I was teaching and while I was pregnant, and I got my master's degree in education. And then in 2008, 2010, I moved into a specialist position where I was able to work with more teachers and students. So what's important about this position is that this is where I was able to take my ideas I was using and being successful with and share them with hundreds and thousands of teachers and students. So this is where people really started to get an idea of the way I was teaching. I still didn't have a business. I was just sharing my ideas, but this is kind of how it all started. All right, and on the next slide, I continue to share my ideas as a writing specialist. I was still in the school district. And then in 2011, I had my third baby. Now in 2010, I had started building my business. And it was in 2012, you can see the picture of me there on the computer. I left my district and I went to take a job teaching online. And I did that because I had had my third son and I wanted to do something where I could work from home. So I started teaching online, and that is when everyone started saying, where'd you go? Where are those lessons you used to give out? We need them. And I was like, I left. I had another baby. I left the district, and they said, well, we need those lessons. Can you like write them down and we'll buy them? And at the time, I'm not, I told you before, I was not a business person, knew nothing. I don't even know how to start a business at this point. And everyone is saying, hey, just write it all down. We'll buy it from you. Come on, we need it. And so I thought, maybe I should try. So literally that's how Top Score Writing started. It started because everyone kept begging me for the lessons. And I Googled that night, how do you start a business in Florida? And I started a business. Like, it literally happened with people asking me. I went online, paid the fee, came up with a name, boom, done, started. Did I become a multi-million-dollar business overnight? No. This was time in building it. But starting it is not hard. That's the easy part, right? I went online, I typed in a name, I paid the $200 and pushed submit. That was the beginning. So that's where it all started. On the next slide, you'll see there's been lots of ups and lots of downs, and that's a whole nother presentation I could give about all the ups and downs. But I say that because no matter what you start, I promise you there's gonna be ups and downs. And if you go into it knowing that, it'll make things so much easier if you already know, you know what, there's gonna be ups and there's gonna be downs. That way, when there is a down, you don't think it's the end of the world or it's a complete failure, because there just are downs, and that's what it is. And for me and for most people that I hear of, those downs are what make your business better, because you learn from them and you grow. So I always tell everyone who's starting a business, expect it. Expect stuff to go wrong along the way, learn from it, and grow. And on the next slide, you'll see kind of what I've done over the last 10 years. My business's Top Score Writing started just being in Florida. It started out real small. I was super happy. I was like, okay, I'm making extra money. This is great. Never thought it would be as big as it is. And slowly I started out in Palm Beach County, then grew into 10 counties, and then took over all of Florida, which is 60 something counties. And now I'm nationwide. I'm in about 10 other states and continuing to grow. So it has become what started in a teacher's living room, and grown into a nationwide multi-million-dollar curriculum business. And I did it all by myself. I just got a team 2 years ago, and I've been in business for 10 years. So that's the important part about my presentation too, that I'm going to share with you, is all the ways I did it with little money, because it was just me. And then Coastal, you'll see on the bottom here, I started with 3 kids. And it was a nonprofit. I was going to keep it small. My intention was never to be a big school, because it's just kind of like my, it's not my main business. It's my nonprofit. I'm doing it to help people. And I have 42 kids now, and I'm maxed out. I have a waiting list because I want to keep it small. I have a small facility. So it just goes to show that, you may go into things thinking I'm just going to do this as a side hustle, and it can grow into a big business, which has happened to me twice. So that's my backstory. So now I want to get into the nitty gritty of stuff that you can take away. Before I get into everything, the next slide, if you are a female, this is a huge statistic that I always like to share. If we can go to the next slide real quick. If you have not heard this before, this is a startling statistic that only 2% of women-owned businesses ever break the $1 million mark in revenue. To me, when I heard that, I thought, only 2%? Really? Like, that's it? The rest are men? So for me, that kind of fuels my fire. I am the 2%. I'm happy to say that, because it's such a small percent. And for me, I'm on this mission personally as Lisa Collum to help bring that higher. I think there should be more women starting businesses and breaking the $1 million mark. It shouldn't always be where women start businesses and it's always a side thing. It can be, but we should use resources and tools to make it bigger so that we're raising that percentage. Because it's 2020, we shouldn't have only 2% of women breaking the $1 million mark. So that's just, I always like to share that, make sure that people are aware, and hopefully if you're a female watching this, it fuels your fire. And if you're a male, if you have a female in your life, you can help support them to bring them up as well. Okay, on the next slide, these are just a few of my just snippets of different news coverage and magazines and different things that I've been a part of. This has been amazing because not only am I able to share my my curriculum with schools that buy, but when I do something on a national news, then all schools all over, worldwide are able to see. And to me, that's just amazing because I want to share my way of being able to teach. Okay, so the number one question on the next slide that I get is, how do you do it all? And how do you start your businesses? Top 2 questions I get all the time, because my life is pure craziness. I have 4 kids and 2 businesses. But the biggest question is, how do you start your business? And I'm going to go back to the fact that I'm going to tell you, I did not know anything. My degrees are in education. No one in my family has ever run a business. So this was literally starting from scratch, Googling, and I did it. So you can do it too. All right, the next page, I'm going to start going through some tips. So if you've got paper and pencil, you can write some of these down. If not, this is being recorded. You are welcome to watch it again as much as needed. All right, next slide, please. So there is no right time. I want everyone to walk away knowing, don't wait for the right time. If there's an ideal perfect time, I say it's now. I've done this presentation a few times, and I've never been more excited to do this presentation than today because of the situation we're in. We are all at home. We have more time. Many of us may still have our jobs, may not have our jobs, may be part-time. Whatever it is, if there was a perfect time to take an idea and start a business, it's now. You don't have to turn it into a nationwide multi-million-dollar business today, but you can start it today. Like literally after this presentation, you can go on, come up with a name and start your business today, and then build it from there. So, and I always reiterate that there's no right time, because I built my businesses while I had kids, while I got a master's degree. So it wasn't, I can never say to somebody, wait till you have kids or get your degree first. No. There is never a right time, I promise you. So just start it. Figure it out along the way. Okay, next slide. If you have an idea or a dream, we all, I don't care who I come across, every single person has had an idea, okay? Whatever that idea or your dream that you want to do one day, please stop waiting, okay? There's no point in waiting. There's no point of trying to wait till you have more free time or trying to wait until your kids are older or trying to wait until you have kids. Try it, start it now, okay? Because on the next slide, the absolute worst that can happen, it doesn't work and you fail and nobody cares because people fail all the time. Some of the biggest billionaires in the world have failed at businesses and they've not gone through, and that's okay. Guess what? You start another one. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. And what I'm going to show you today is I'm not asking you to quit your full-time job and go 100% in on a business. No. That's too much risk. We are keeping it low risk. If you start it and build it on the side and it doesn't work, no big deal. Most people don't know this, but when I first wanted to start my school, I started it twice and it completely failed. I tried to start it completely on my own. I sent out, this was like 10 years ago, postcards in the mail trying to get kids, and I couldn't get any kids. And it wasn't until later when I decided to go into it with a plan and it just was the better timing, I guess, it actually worked out. So everything is not going to work the first time, and that's okay. So we just have to keep in mind that even if you try it and it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, okay? Nobody died, everyone's okay, you just failed at a business. So I think we need to get over the worry of what if it doesn't work out? Who cares? And who cares what everyone thinks, right? If everyone says, oh, you failed, well, you didn't even try. You know what I mean? So we at least want to try. Okay, so this is my biggest thing that I say. Number one suggestion is start your business, but you can do it all on the side. I don't think anyone's really in the position to just quit their job and start a business. Maybe you are. If you are, that's great. Most of us are in a position where we still need to pay bills and do different things. So I never once quit my job and started my businesses. I started both of them on the side. I worked online teaching for 3 years before, and I'm sorry, let me start over. I was teaching online the first 3 years I owned Top Score Writing. I was teaching online all day, and then at night I would work on Top Score Writing. So I did that simultaneously for 3 years, and then I quit my full-time job. But I built my business for 3 years before I quit. So here's my point. Start your business, start it on the side. I don't care if you have a full-time job. Okay, start yours on the side. Do it at nights and weekends. Build it, it takes time. For me, I would, like I said, teach all day, and then from about 4 to 7 or 8 every night, I would work on Top Score Writing. On the weekends, I would work on Top Score Writing. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I have a friend who is a pharmaceutical rep. She wants to be an interior designer. That's her dream. But she can't, she has bills. She cannot quit her job. So I keep trying to motivate her to start her interior design business on the side. I told her, just get a few clients, work at night, work on the weekends, take a few people here and there, but at least you're starting it and building it. And then when you get enough people, then you can decide that you'll quit your full-time job. So just think about starting it on the side and building it along the way. All right, next slide. It doesn't have to be a big investment. You don't need thousands or millions of dollars to start a business. I took $100 and put it in a business checking account, and I started. And so what I did was I would print my books. So like as an example, I put $100 in. I went, printed a book. I used to go to Office Max, put it in a binder, cost me like 20 bucks. And I would sell that, make that, put that in the bank, then print another one. Sell that, make that, put it in the bank. And before I knew, I had $200, then $300, then $500, then $1,000. So I didn't go out and say, I'm going to rent a huge office and print 500 books and start my business. No, I did it out of my house with $100, and I printed a few at a time, and I just kept building it from there. So for me, what I've learned, and this was a big one for me, because before starting a business, I always thought you needed money. lots of money to start a business. I always thought you had to have hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm telling you, you need $100 because that's what the bank requires you to open up a bank account. So you put that in there and you just build from there. You don't have to go all in and be this superstar business from the beginning. It doesn't need to be a grand opening of a facility. Start on the side at your house. I mean, I have my office here. That's all I need. I don't need some big grand office. All right, next slide. So what I want to suggest, and this worked really, really well for me, is when you first start your business, okay, find a way to give it out or part of it for free. And this is why you do this. This is your free marketing, okay? This is you let people try it, you let them spread it word of mouth, and you ask for testimonials, okay, or social media posts. This is by far the best way to get free marketing and advertising for your business. And this is what I used to do. So I have books I was showing you before. These are the books that the teachers buy, and there's 100 lessons. So what I would do is in the beginning, and I still do this on the website, is I would give out the first 5 lessons for free. I would attach them in an email and I would send them out to schools. And I would say, here are 5 lessons, try them out, let me know what you think. Did 100% open them and use them? No, but there were a lot of people that did, and they would write back, I love these lessons, these are so great, how can I buy them? I would save their testimonials and then post them on social media. That is exactly how I grew the first 5 years. I didn't pay a penny for marketing. I didn't have a marketing person. I didn't have a social media person. It was all for me letting people try it and then getting their testimonials and sharing that, and also just them sharing it with, hey, I saw these lessons, you know, with other teachers. I still do that now, even though I'm a big company with a marketing team. I got a message from somebody in another state. I think she was in Arizona. And she said, I saw your curriculum. No one in our state has it. I'm interested. And I sent her a book for free. And I said, all I'm asking you to do is post about it on your social media and share it with other schools around. I did that for one teacher, and I now have multiple schools in Arizona because of that one teacher I gave the book for free. And she, you know, most people will return the testimonial and share it on social media for you. But that's sometimes what it takes. So think about that. I don't want you giving away everything for free. I'm not saying that, but if you can give out pieces of it and just ask for testimonials in return, that's a great, easy, free marketing tactic that still works to this day. And if you're big on social media, big companies do this. They have influencers. They don't pay them a dime. They give them product for free, and the influencers have to share it on social media and write testimonials. Okay, next slide. So we all know about Facebook and social media. If you are against social media for different reasons, that is fine, but I'm telling you, for businesses, it is the way you are solidified as a business. I do this, everyone does this. We stalk Facebook and Instagram business pages to see if they're legit businesses. For me, I'm a teacher that built a business. So, 8-9 years ago, no one knew what top score writing was. So if I just said, here's an email, try my lessons, people are like, what's top score writing? They know big education companies. And so I had to prove myself somehow. And I know people would go to my Facebook and my Instagram and my website to see, is this a for real business? What are people saying about it? Facebook and Instagram are the easiest way for free advertising. Okay. And again, you have to have a business page, because I do this all the time. I'll see a business and I'll go straight looking for them on Facebook, and then I'll go to see, are they posting stuff? If people haven't posted stuff in 2 years, in my mind, I think they're not an active business anymore. So it's important to keep posting. Start posting, keep posting. That way people, when they come, they'll know, oh, look, they're an active business. They're legit business. People are commenting, they're posting. So it's the best way for free marketing and free advertising. Keep it professional. Obviously, the biggest thing is you got to start a business page. Don't start putting your business stuff on your personal. Okay, because then things start to get mixed up. You go to a party, you're posting your party pics on your business. Keep your business professional. Keep it completely separate. What you can do, if you've never done this, when you start your Facebook business page, you can invite all your personal friends. And that's a great way to get a small following. And then they'll invite people. So you'll see once you start, it says invite, and you can invite all your friends. This is the perfect place to post testimonials. Anytime somebody says something, emails you something, writes a comment about something that's nice about your product or what you're offering, ask them if you can use it as a testimonial. 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 times out of 10, people say no problem. And post that testimonial on your Facebook. Because again, it's the way to justify your legit business that people are using and people like, and it's all for free. Okay, if someone says to you when you're out, you know, when we can go back out and we're not social distancing anymore, and someone says, hey, I used your stuff, it was amazing. Say, can I use that as a testimonial? They'll be like, sure, like perfect. Write that out, put their name, put it on your Facebook and your Instagram. Whatever you post on Facebook, post on Instagram, vice versa. Okay, because I'll tell you what I've learned. 50% of people use Facebook and 50% use Instagram. It's like Android and iPhone, right? Everyone just has their reasons. So don't do more on Facebook and less on Instagram, or vice versa. Do both, post the exact same thing on both of them. If you don't know about Instagram, the hashtags are the easiest way for you to reach outside your community, right? You can hashtag and people all over the world will see it. Okay, so think about that with free advertising. Okay, next slide. And when it comes to spending money, I always say small steps. So Facebook is free. I did 7 years of free advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And it wasn't until the last 3 or 4 years, I slowly started to pay for ads. And what happens is when you pay for ads, even if you pay 20 bucks, your ads get seen more. Okay, because Facebook and Instagram have these weird algorithms that hold back your posts. So a lot of people don't see them, but once you start paying for them, suddenly Facebook and Instagram put them out in front of everybody. So even starting small with 10 bucks, 20 bucks, now I spend thousands on Facebook ads, but that's where I am at this point in my business. But I started free. And then I would slowly put 5 or 10 bucks here or there, and I would start to see more people seeing it. Same thing with a graphic designer. You don't need a graphic designer at first. Okay, but once you start building it and you're on year 3, 4, and you're making good money, it's worth paying a graphic designer on the side to start doing some graphics for your website. If you go to Top Score Writing, if you're ever really bored on my Facebook, go back 3, 4 years. I didn't have a graphic designer. I was posting my own pictures of me loading stuff up in cars and shipping books, and now it looks all pretty. So you can see kind of how my business has grown with my social media. Another small step is professional pictures. I don't have my camera here, but I do lots of photo shoots, but I invested in a camera. And for me, that's easy because my husband, my kids can take pictures. We can use those for social media. Build a team. I told you I was 100% on my own until 3 years ago. So I slowly built a team, and I did it all with 1099, which are part-time contractors. So that way you don't have to have, at first at least, employees and health insurance and benefits. You can start with 1099 contractors on the side and then build your business into employees. And then probably my top tip for small steps along the way is get an accountant. I will tell you there are so many, and I'm going to show you some of the tax tips on the next few slides, but there's so many things that you don't know unless accounting is your expertise. It's a kind of a shaky world because you want to make sure you're doing everything right, but there are so many ways to save, so you really need expert advice. So I highly suggest, once you're able to get a real accountant. It doesn't need to be a full-time accountant, but it just needs to be someone that throughout the year you can, touch base with. They're in charge of your taxes, your bookkeeping once you get to that point as well. Okay, next slide. This is a picture of me in my office, and this is, I put this picture because everyone laughs, right? I own a multi-million-dollar company, and I've got this little small office in my house. I do have another office where my school is, but this is what I work 90% of my company out of. And this is me. Schools send us papers. That's part of another service I provide. They'll send papers, and my team will score them. Like, we'll give the kids a grade on them. So this is me one Friday night at midnight, trying to sort all the papers to mail back to the schools. But I show this picture because I don't need to spend $5,000 a month renting some grand office space. For me, I'm fine. I do it out of my home office for the most part, and that's all I need. I'm not worried about what people think. Okay, so if you're able to run it out of an area of your house, do it. That's all you need. You don't need a building. You don't need a grand space with 10 different offices. You may get to that, and depending on your business, you may need that. But I'm just saying you can start it and you can be super successful in an office like this, like me. And this is just a small little room. I'm actually going to expand it because I'm running out of room. But even if it's just a small area in a room in your house, your bedroom. I know somebody that works, she has a huge master closet and she put her computer in there. It doesn't matter. Okay, you can be successful and it may not look like it with your office. That's perfectly fine. Okay, next slide, and I'm gonna try to go with these a little quick because I don't want to keep you guys on here too long. Just some tax tips I've learned over the years that I want to share with you. Keep track of all your income and expenses. That's super important. I did it paper and pencil for years and it caused chaos. If you can get QuickBooks or have a part-time bookkeeper, you know, for $100 a month, if you're a small business, you can have a bookkeeper do your books. It's really not that huge of an investment. Make sure you file with the IRS. For Florida, I did not know this, so I always put this in here. Whatever your state is, make sure you file for your state Department of Revenue, okay? I did not learn that until my 4th year when I accidentally called them for something, and they said, well, you haven't filed your taxes in 4 years. And I was like, what? I filed with the IRS. And they're like, no, we're the Department of Revenue. I had no idea that you're supposed to be filing with your state Department of Revenue as well. And I ended up having to pay a whole bunch of late fees. So make sure you not only file with the IRS, but your state Department of Revenue. You can write off your office in your house. Okay, that's an accounting question because you can write off part of your mortgage, part of your house insurance, part of your electric, part of your water bill, whatever your bills are. You can, if you have a home office, you can write off part of that. You can pay your kids. Okay, if you don't know this, this is a huge tax savings. I have all my kids on payroll. You know what they do? They're models. They're on the covers of all my books. Okay, all of my books, I've got another one up here I'll show you, have my kids on the cover. Okay, so I pay them because every time books are sold, they're getting, you know, money because they're the models on the cover. They're also in a lot of my social media posts. Anytime I can do any type of photo shoot, I try to involve them. They also help me ship off books and package up books. I have tons of pictures of them as well. So I pay them, and that is a huge tax savings. You could pay up to $12,000 a year to each kid without having to do an official, I'm not an accountant, I'm not gonna say this, talk to your accountant, okay? But I just know there's a, it's up to $12,000 a year, and then you don't have to have them file taxes. But as long as they're a part of your business and they're working, pay them. I make my kids a part of all of it. Keep all your receipts. If you don't know, there's an app called Receipt App. And literally every time I go to the gas station, because I'm using my car under my company, or I go to Office Max, I just go into my phone and I go to Receipt Bank, and it just pops up and I take a picture right then and there, and it goes into the system, and then I can access it online. So there's, you know, the old school keeping receipts in boxes and trying to keep track in your purse, no need. Take a picture, throw the receipt away, it goes right online. Any of your clothes, if you put your logo, you can write off. So you could buy a whole bunch of shirts, put your logo on them, you can write them all off underneath your business. And then your meals as well, as long as you're outside your regular like commute hours, you can write those off. So many, this is like the shortest list. I promise you there's like 100 things. And this is why it's so important to have an accountant. Okay, next slide. So the first step, literally what you could do today or tomorrow, but if you have an idea, I hope that I've motivated and encouraged you. Go to your state website. If you are in Florida, this is the Florida one, it's sunbiz.org. If you don't know, if let's say you're in North Carolina, type in Google North Carolina Division of Corporations. If you're in Arizona, put Arizona Division of Corporations. Find your site, go to start a business, come up with a name, you just follow the steps. You put in your name, your address, your business name, you pay the money, you submit. Usually it's a couple $100, and that's it. You have to start. You have to do that. People keep putting off starting it to, I need a plan, I need money, I gotta do this. No, start it, then do all that. Figure it out along the way. But at least if you started it, you've tackled the first big issue, is just starting it and getting a name. Once you have a name attached, start your Facebook business page and get into your office and start working on it. And who cares if it takes 10 years? Okay, I wasn't doing much for the first 5 years. It was just a nice side hustle for me, but now here I am. So it's you know, you can do it. Next slide. After you file and start your business, you got to file with the IRS, which that's another piece that you can pay. I think it's an extra $80 for, at least that's what it was when I did it. But when you're filing on your state website, it'll give you the option right then and there to pay for them to do that, or you can do it on your own. But you got to get your EIN number. File with your state. Remember I was saying the Department of Revenue. For Florida, it's the Florida Department of Revenue. Open up a business checking account. That's super important. You do not want to mix personal with business, because when you do get an accountant, that's going to be a problem. I learned. And then start your Facebook. Literally 5 steps. So the first one was to go to your state website, file with IRS, file with your state, open a business checking account, and then start your social media, your business account. Okay. And once those steps are complete, on the next slide, you can start your business. Okay, it does not need to be a big deal. You can email me after. I can send you this PowerPoint. This is super, super simple, but you got to start it. So whatever your idea is, okay, whatever you've thought about, I don't care if you're working a 40, 50-hour-a-week job, okay? I'm working like 70 hours a week, and I have 4 kids. Just start it. Even if you don't do much with it now, start it. And maybe you just do little pieces over the next 6 months and you still don't do much. Maybe you don't tell anybody. It's fine, just start it. At least start it, because then you can't build until you've started. So get step 1 done. Okay, and I'm gonna leave you with a few tips, advice. Just please know it's going to take time. Most people, some people are overnight success, but it's going to take time. It depends on, you know, how much risk you want to put into it. For me, I was very low risk. Like I said, I kept my full-time job for 3 years. I didn't invest a lot of money. So it took me time to build it. Expect failures, expect people not to believe in you. Be ready for all the haters to come out. I can't tell you how many friends and people I thought were colleagues turned against me. People took my curriculum, they whited out my name, they put their name on it, used it with entire districts. I was banned from working in districts because of people that said stuff about the way that I taught writing. There was just a lot of things, a lot of people that came out of the woodworks. It all is fine now, but I'm just saying be ready for that, because that's what happens when you're successful. So if you go into it knowing that, you'll be more prepared. Remember why you started it. Stay true to you, and success doesn't always mean millions. I know that's probably all our end goal, but being successful is doing what you're passionate about, doing what you love every single day, and that's really it. All right, and the next slide, I've said this a million times, but stop thinking it's a big or a hard thing to start a business. It's not. Starting it is the easy part. Okay, building it is what takes time and work, but you can start it and build it at your pace that works best for you. Okay. Can I be a good mom and run a business? 100%. If you're a female on here, please don't worry about taking time away from your kids or the balance. You will figure it out, I promise. And I always say that for me, I want my boys, I have 4 kids, 3 of them are boys. I want my boys to know and see me so they know that their wives can be good moms and run businesses or work. And I want my girl, my 4th one, to know she can do both. And so it's important for your kids to see you. Okay, so this is a life lesson for them as well. Next slide. You have one life. Why wait, right? Why keep wondering, what if I did this? This is the time. Like, we have more time than ever. I've been bike riding every day. I never bike ride. We have more time. This is the time to go on and start it. All right, next slide. So try it, go for it. You won't regret it. Trust me, you will not regret it. And next slide. I'm not going to get into this too much because of time, but I just want to tell you, if you're ever overwhelmed, my top business tip, it's a hot mess, but I do a list every day of what I need to do, and then I prioritize my list. So although I may have 30 things on my list, I put an asterisk by my top things I have to get done, and then I group them. So these are like the things I have to get done. My daughter spilled something, and then these are like due by the end of the week, and these are due within the next month. So a lot of times your list can be overwhelming, especially when you get into your business. So prioritizing your list and really come up with an action plan of how to get everything done can settle your anxiety, your stress, and allow you to know you can get it all done. So make a list and prioritize. And my last big business tip on the next slide is take time to make time. So if you are like, I don't have time, you have to make time. Okay, so you have to say, I'm gonna spend from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. today working on starting my business. You've got to schedule out time for everything. I even schedule out time for my list to make time. So it's really important that you do that. And on the last slide, I'm gonna leave you with my information. Well, think positive, that's another one. And then go ahead to the next one. Okay, so that is my website, lisacollum.com, and my business website is topscorewriting.com. And then if you have Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me at Lisa Collum CEO. I constantly post all my tips and resources on my social media, so make sure to follow me and reach out if you saw this presentation. I thank everyone for listening to me. I hope that I motivated